Welcome, welcome back. And today, I want to talk about is, I guess you could say, I'll name it my Magnum Opus. And the reason why I call it my Magnum Opus is because, for 2 weeks, I've been just thinking about, I've been learning a lot, especially a lot from Carl Jung with the subconscious and the conscious and the subconscious, or like with your shadow and all that stuff. And I've been doing a lot of thinking around that. And in current modern, I guess you say modern day thinking is that so you have your current self and then your future self, and you want to do what your future self person does, right? That's why you act in accordance of it. You do those sort of actions, and then you want to. I can't say the bad word on YouTube, but you don't want to. I mean, you want to get rid of, extinguish your current self, right? I'm sure you know the word I'm thinking of. You want to get rid of your current self and then become your future self. However, I disagree with that notion because think about it like this, right? Why does or why do people like to reminisce on old good times? Nostalgia is such a huge thing. Is nostalgia, and it's because people like to obviously they see the past with rose tinted glasses is because it's something they don't want to forget. And I don't think the past is something that you should forget, because the past is something that we all learn from, right? That's why there's history. That's why we all learn from history, because it's something that we can all learn from. And this got me thinking, right? Why? I am very thankful for my past self is because of him. He laid the groundworks to where I am today. Obviously, current me needs to lay the groundworks for the next version of me, for the 3.0 version of me, and he's got to lay the groundworks. I'll lay back a bit. He's also got to lay the groundworks, lay down the foundation for the next version of me, so I'm able to become that 6 7 figure entrepreneur. So I didn't get rid of my current self. In fact, I've incorporated him, right? And this is something that Charlie also mentions, and I very like I not prescribe. I really like Charlie's philosophy about a lot of things. I look up to him. I treat him as if he's like my mentor. Obviously, only an online mentor. I don't have his personal mentorship. I don't talk to him one on one. That'd be cool, but maybe in the future. But something he says like this, you go in life cycles, right? Oscillatory life cycles, where sometimes you do so good, they're killing it. That's when you're accordance of your future self, but then you come back and you do your old habits as if you were your past self, right? If people go in these cycles and these loops, that's why these people can they lose and gain the same 20 pounds over and over and again because they go through these loops and they can't catch themselves. So there's that just got me thinking, right? So you are you, and then you can act in accordance of the future you, where you do all the good things, you do all the right habits, you stay on track, but then you also can act as if the past you, meaning do all the old, I wouldn't say bad habits, but doing the habits that are not aligned to your goal, right? And that got me thinking that why would I want to get rid of the version of me that help got me to where I am today, right? And it's because of his actions I am here today, and I'm thankful for him to getting me to or priming me to getting me to that next step. So there's no reason to get rid of him when I can just include him. If I already sometimes go through these loops of these boom and bust, peaks and troughs, why do I need to get rid of him? And and Charlie also mentions is in his one of his videos is that you cannot be super disciplined without rest. Rest is a very key factor. Like you can go 50 weeks of straight discipline, but you still going to need those last 2 weeks of recovery. And he mentions where I think he spends a week or two, whatever, and just doing all the bad habits, everything. So if this guy who is an 8 figure entrepreneur needs to spend like a week or so doing all of his bad habits, then does that mean that there is that weaker version of himself, the version of him like whatever 10 years ago. That version of him is still inside of him and doesn't take control of him who he is today because he's a completely different version of himself. However, that version of him that like from 10 years ago is still inside of him. Not as loud, not as dominant, but it's still part of him. So that just got me thinking, if that version of me is always going to be part of me, why can't I just include him? So, like as an example, each like in a company, everyone has their own skill sets. And when you need to get something done, you require a certain skill set. So you'll ask that person with that specific skill set, here, I'm handing this to you. I need you to get this done. That just makes sense, right? So, in a sense, obviously, the current version of me, or even the past version of me, version 1 and 2, let's say, version 2 has certain specific skill sets that he like acquired to get to where he wanted to go or his like average level versus like version 1 of me, I was, you know, watching anime all day, playing games, like jerking off like a monkey. That was version 1 of me. But version 2 of me, he's somewhat disciplined, has a good schedule, works out, exercises, meal plan, everything. But version 3 of me is much more work focused, disciplined. He is, he's the type of person who sticks to his word and is very well respected. That's the thing. So I have parts of me, like parts of version 1 of me today. Like I'm thankful for version 1 of me. Version 1 of me helped me acquire like taste as in I can not this I don't want to say discern, but I like what is taste? Taste can mean a lot of things, I think, right? But taste as in I know when something is valued by society versus someone something is not. I guess that's how I describe taste. Meaning, like, in the context of like anime and games, is like if you show me in like in animes, for example, I could tell you what's a good one and what's a bad one, just from because I've seen thousands. I've seen thousands. That first version of me, he is a fucking he's a demon when it comes to that. He watched so many anime, but then the version 2.0 of me, because of him, his past work, and what he did, I'm able to like me the version 2 of me right now has like good taste. I would like to say I have good taste, and because people when I recommend an anime to them, they're like, oh my god, I wish I've seen this earlier. I've always get good recommendations. That's the thing. So I've acquired some taste. I have a that person is still part of me. I room today. So when I go in like my deep troughs, like there was like 2 3 months of burnout, not burnout, but of those troughs where I just go degenerate old bad habits, or I should say bad habits. Habits that are not conducive to my current goals. Those habits, or like version 1 or part of version 1 of me. So when he is sick and tired of not getting his way, he's acting like like a kid throwing a tantrum. So he shouts at the body and mind, be like, "I want this. I want ice cream. I want to eat cookies, chips. I want to just watch anime all day." That happens. That happened. It hasn't happened in like 2 months, but it happened before that. Like in the beginning of summer, I think it was end of May, early June. I finished school and I just went straight like for 2 3 weeks straight, just all bad habits, all my old habits. Again, I shouldn't say bad habits. All my habits that were not conducive to my goals. I need to start saying that. I need to be more technical with my words. That person is still part of me. So, and if he's not getting what he wants, like a kid, right? You need to pacify the kid. That's why they have pacifiers. If they don't have a pacifier, they're just gonna cry and scream and shout. They're gonna cause tantrums. They're gonna throw tantrums. And so you need to give them the pacifier, which is that couple days or that week or so where you need to give him that pacifier, give him what he wants, and just let him sit in the corner. So that's where I am. That's what got me thinking of this concept of my magnum. I love to call this my magnum opus, but I don't know if I it's probably like someone else came with it, but I like to call this my magnum opus But there's two versions of you. There's current you, and there's next version of you. The current you got to where you are today, while the next version of you is the person that you want to be. However, you don't get rid of your current you. You don't get rid of him. However, you need to. Okay, let me explain like this. This is where I came up with the concept called the Council of Me, in which the Council of Me is I am me in the center. I am the CEO of this council. Councilman, like a board of directors, or like like I don't know, like a councilman, I guess you could say, like a board of directors, right? A board of members, like a imagine like a round table of members that all trying to come up with a decision, right? Like the C-suite of a company, something like that. And on one side is one team that which is the current you, and the other side is another team. There's two teams. Like so, you as CEO comes up with not a decision, but with a proposition. Like for example, let's say outreach. The CEO comes out, okay, guys, we have this thing called outreach. How are we going to tackle this? How are we going to do this? And then on one side is the current you. Current you is like, nah, forget about it. We don't want to do this. It's too much pain. It's too much work. This isn't that, right? And then the next version of you is like, he's like, no, we got to do this because this is where we're going to get to the next level. This is how we're going to make like more money or whatever the case may be. Well, the thing is, the current version of you has everybody else is with the current version of you, right? He has so much fire. He has all the coal and he has so much fire because he has so much he has so much evidence. He has so much he has so much thing what's the word? I guess like not rapport, but he has so much like undeniable evidence because he is the one that got to where we are currently. So everyone is with him because he has so much. I need to pull this up on my phone because I need to read this. Okay, I'm just gonna read it straight for word. This is my magnum opus. You create a new identity, then you have to act out that identity. But acting that new identity is going to be painful because you're slowly unaliving your current self. Current you is slowly unaliving, while the next version of you is the light at the end of the tunnel. Once you see that light, keep going. Don't stop. Here, pain is only going to get stronger because the current you is slowly withering away. Don't stop. Lean into the pain. Keep going because the next version of you is where you want to be. Fully embrace the current you. Yes, he's slowly withering off, but he will never be forgotten. Because of him, we were able to get to where we are, and because of him, we were able to keep on going. And this is where sort of the council me came from is from that. I like to say is my quote, but I don't know if it is, but I like to say is mine. So, like I said, two versions of you. There's the board, the councilman, and everyone is with the current you because he has built so much trust and he has so much undeniable evidence because he is the one that got to where we are currently today. While the future version of you, there's maybe one person, but there's most likely nobody there, and because nobody's there, we we as a CEO, the head, need to convince the people from the current board to come to the future person's team. So we're trying to convince the members from the current version of you to switch sides to the future version of you. And how can we do that? So the way I visualize is right. The current version of you has so much coal. He has so much fire. Like he's burning hot, while the future version of you is just a small candle. So what we have to do is us ourselves as a CEO, as the head person, we need to go in to the current version of you, grab a shovel and face the flames, face the fucking heat, feel the pain, and like shovel up some coal and throw it into the future version of you. So we need to go into the fire and feel the heat of the fire, and you have to literally burn you. Like what is it? First degree burns, I think it's called, when you just really burning alive. You have to go into the heat, feel it, feel the heat, let it all these like blisters and like melting your skin off. You need to feel it. Grab the coal and throw it to the future version of you. And when you're doing that, the future version of you's fire is getting stronger and stronger and stronger, while the current version of you's fire is getting weaker and smaller. It's not fully out. It will never go out. It's gonna be there, but it's gonna be so small and so minuscule until one day it just explodes when you don't take care of it. But that's what I'm trying to say with pacifying thing, right? So that's it comes down to basically just doing the work of facing the pain every day. And something I like a mantra I tell myself every day is there's two mantras is pain is the path to progress. Pain is the path to progress. I just keep telling it every time I don't want to do the work. I said, this is the pain. Pain is the path. And to the path, sorry, pain. This is the pain. And pain is the path. With this pain and through this path, we will make progress. Pain is the path to progress. Oh shit. How much and another thing I keep asking myself if how much pain am I willing to endure to reach my goals? I have a like one of my beliefs is that I'm willing to endure more pain than other people. I've I do have some proof of that, but I tell myself, how much pain are you willing to endure? Aren't you the type of person to willing that endures more pain than other people, right? So how much pain are you willing to endure? So I keep telling myself that. How much pain am I willing to endure? Pain is the path to progress. Face the pain, face the fire. And one of Charlie's videos is like walk the trial by fire, and to me that's just like that's kind of like almost poetic, right? Because you need to think about it as um a blade, I'm saying bladesmith, not a bladesmith, a blacksmith, right? A blacksmith. He takes the iron, right? When people say iron sharpens iron, that's true. But that's what people interact. Sharp people interacting with other sharp people. But what about yourself? A sword is created. A sword is a first is a block of iron that has been melted with like scorching hot fire, and pounded on with a hammer. So you literally get okay. Pause. You're getting pounded on. That sounds so weird. You're getting even if I sing as a smash, that sounds weird. Anyways, pause. You're getting pounded on, and you're facing the flame every single day. And then when you come out this pristine, like beautiful creation. That's the thing. So you need to face the fire, and I don't want to say keep getting pounded on. I don't want to keep saying that, but you need to face the flame and keep facing. I guess you could have rejections, whatever. I don't want to keep saying getting pounded on. That's just crazy. You need to face the flame and keep going no matter what. Just keep going and do the work. And this is like, I'm. This video is more so of like for myself, right? Because I'm just constantly trying to tell myself, keep going, no matter what. Just keep going. Just do the work. Just do the work. Do it because that's the only thing that matters is doing the work. Either you work a 9 to 5 job, you still have to do work. So you could either choose to work for somebody else or work for yourself. Obviously, there's other caveats and other things next to it, but that's like beside the scope of this video. Like it's just I just wanted to say this like as my magnum opus is you don't want to get rid of your current self. You want to incorporate him as part of the team. You want to make him feel included. So, and how we do that is obviously giving him what he wants, pacifying him, giving him what he wants once in a while, feeding him that pacifier. And while you do that, you also need to show like the other members of the board undeniable proof why the future next version of you is better than the current version of you. And to do that, is you need to face the flames, face the fire, and do the work. Simple as that. And remember, good luck and have fun.